super excited. Welcome to Connected North. We have my friend Derek Nott. Well, he's a new friend to the roster. And I told everyone before, Derek, my friend roster is full. So I wasn't accepting applications. But you know what? You seem to have won the signing department over.
I appreciate it. It's good to be with you guys.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So, Derek, you're born and raised here in Sault Ste. Marie, and you spent 15 years honing your craft. And you have quite a journey from party boy out west over to the Czech and circled back full circle, came back to Sault Ste. Marie. And you're like, yeah, this shit is going to be awesome. I've got so much to come and do here and back at home. And you're like thinking, building and what you were doing in the Czech and now back. And then
it's been a journey. But I moved back here. I'm born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie, right? And I moved back here 2 years ago.
Thank you. Thanks for moving back. We need people moving back.
Lovely to be back. My family's here, and guys getting older, and family becomes a more important thing. And been traveling since I was 18 years old. Moved away from home when I was 18 years old and played football in the States.
Oh, nice. Where did you play football?
Northern Michigan University with my brother. Was there for about 3 years, and then as you do, hurt my back, hurt my knees, and
playing football,
lost my scholarship. So
okay.
I was in a car accident, which was one of the things that was led to a long-term back thing, and then football on AstroTurf didn't make it any worse or any better. So
it all catches up, eh?
It does.
What position did you play?
Tight end.
I was a tight end.
There you go.
We are two different humans, though.
Well, yeah. I was a lot more
Travis Kelce
muscly than at that time. But the life in Sault Ste. Marie has been good to me since I moved back. I put on almost 90 pounds. So,
well, I'm going on my regime starting after the holiday weekend. So for everyone, it's Easter weekend when we're filming this one. It will come out probably in a few weeks. But definitely thank you for taking time out of your holiday weekend.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
I mean, we're probably doing you a favor, helping you save some of the pounds by missing some of the festivities.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win. It's a win-win, right? Like we got this down for you. So tell us about your journey. So 18, move away, do scholarship and football. I think that's how you end up being a party
boy. And then
boy.
after Northern Michigan, I moved to Windsor, Ontario to finish out my university. I have a degree in human kinetics because I started playing football in the States and had to pick a program and had no idea what I wanted to do. So sports science sounded great as a scholarship football player. Why not, right? And then I finished my human kinetics degree at the University of Windsor and got a job at a bar in downtown, right? And during my years in downtown Windsor, during my younger years, I used to bounce at the River Rock downtown, Sault Ste. Marie, when I was 16 years old, because my older brother worked there and they paid me $50 a night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Chino was a bouncer back in the day. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it.
I'm sure he was.
He was in his prime then.
Well, yeah. So I started bartending when I was 18 because they told me I was too nice to be a bouncer. The owners of the River Rock, Pila and Roman, back in the day.
Right.
Roman's like, you're way too nice to be a bouncer. You always make friends and you're supposed to throw them out. So you be along behind the bar, and that's where I stayed. So in Windsor, I worked at a university bar, Big Dick's Tap and Eatery.
Big Dick's.
The owner's name was Richard, and he was 5'6", so it was the only way that he could, and his nickname was Big Dick.
The pun, right? Of course it is.
It was the only way that he could legally name his bar a vulgar name, right? So he took advantage of that little marketing spin-off and opened Big Dick's Tap and Eatery 500 meters from the front door of Windsor University. So it was a hole in the wall with a garage door at the front. So
packed.
Yeah.
And you slinging cocktail. Now,
we started bartending there, and every night was a party, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I went to a secondhand store and bought a megaphone. And we would open the front door, the garage doors at 11, 12 o'clock in the morning and lure college students that were going to class into the bar with a megaphone. Go, where are you guys going? Class? Come on in here. So much OSAP
Just
money.
Beer.
So much OSAP money has been repaid to that place.
Big Dicks.
Oh, my God.
Richard's doing well with OSAP money.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So were you like a bartender in the traditional sense, or like a cocktail from like Tom Cruise?
Oh no, I was a volume bartender, but that was back in the day.
How many years?
20 years ago. 20 years ago for sure.
Last week, wow.
20 years ago for sure. So it was a good time. And so my bar manager, Ryan Lucier, who was looked like Tom Cruise and was as charismatic, and so he went to the Cayman Islands for vacation. And he made such good friends with the food and beverage manager at the Hilton that he never came back. Got a job as a bartender there.
Oh, wow.
And called me a couple months later, and he's like, "I got a job for you. You're coming to the Caymans, right?" And Cayman Islands, tax haven.
For all that college OSAP money. You're like,
exactly. And the whole island is either locals or expats, right? And the locals are rich. There's more banks in the Cayman Islands per kilometer square than anywhere on earth, right? And so the Caymans don't work, and also all your plumbers, electrical, waitresses, cleaning staff, hotel staff, it's all expats, right? So you get a work permit, you get a job. We were making $600 a night cash in tips, and waking up
$600 a night.
Waking up on 7 Mile Beach, which is 7 miles of pristine white sandy beach and turquoise water. We made sure that all the scuba divers and the jet ski rental guys didn't pay for alcohol at the bar, and the tourists paid twice as much. And we had.
Did you hear that, tourists? I'm sure it's still a common practice.
It is. But it all weighs out. And so 4 years there, and doing like off-time parties and everything like that. And
so, Derek, is that where you got the entrepreneurial bug, or was it in like right from your college days playing, scholarship football player? Seems like you have.
It always seemed. My brother's a financial analyst as well, right? And so I grew up with Steve was crunching numbers. Like Steve used to read the
Financial Times,
the stocks and the financials at 18 years old because he liked to look at the numbers. He was a mathlete when he was a kid, and now he was a
what?
Mathlete. That's
code word
for geek. He was a tournament mathematician, and
tournament math. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend like
that. He was about to tip his mask down. Like he's like, "What are you talking about?
2 plus 2 is still 5."
It is still 5 all day long. So we always had schemes. Like before we went to the University of Northern Michigan.
Schemes. We always have schemes. We had businesses.
We held a fundraiser at the Elks Lodge before we moved to Marquette, so that we'd have money for rent and other expenditures at school. When we were 18.
Love Marquette.
So we rented out the Elks Bar and threw a party for 400 people, and with the proceeds helped us along.
So you were the original GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Back before
when GoFundMe was come to the Elks and drink booze. And
you got a red cup cover. Let's do this.
Yeah. Well, we in University of Marquette, we were in a dorm for the football players, but it was 2 guys in separate rooms and an adjoining bathroom. So we moved all 4 bunk beds into the one room, and we turned the other room into a lounge.
So is this like Step Brothers?
Yeah, so many activities.
So much room for activities.
So many activities were had, yeah. So that worked well. But then I met my ex-wife in the Caymans. Okay. Right? She's from Czech Republic. And then we proceeded to travel the world. So we bought a round-the-world flight ticket when those still existed, and it was unlimited flight stops. I think it was $2,500. You had to fly west the whole way.
Steve, we can't even fly to Toronto for $2,500.
$2,500 was around the world. It was unlimited, but you had to keep every move
what
had
year
to
was
be
that?
to the west. 2006?
That's not that.
2005 probably. Yeah.
21 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it costs you, I wouldn't even know, bet you
$900 just to go to Toronto for the day.
My daughter's flight ticket from the Czech here is $1,200 round trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did a round the world trip, $2,500.
$2,500. Yeah.
All right. So you're around the world trip. Wow. You are fresh out of the Caymans. Yeah. Married now or dating?
No, dating. Okay. Lovely young girl from the Czech Republic. And we flew the flight was to Canada to meet my parents and family.
Yep.
Then we flew to the Czech Republic to meet her parents and family.
Okay.
And then we flew to New Zealand. And we stayed 6 months in New Zealand and worked and raised money and stuff like that. And then we did an overland trip all the way back, like backpacking through Southeast Asia. So Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Bangladesh. We were supposed to go through Burma, but Burma was dangerous at the time for white people who look like Americans. Because George Bush was in power at the time and declared them one of the axis of evil, along with Zimbabwe and Iran.
George Bush, what do you think they're thinking about?
Some things haven't changed.
Well, they haven't. No, they haven't. Iran. They're just they just went across the border to Iran. At that time it was Iraq, right? I think you remember that Iraq at that time was the bad one, but now
it's their side.
It's Magic 8 Ball. Who's it this year?
Yeah, exactly.
Who has the most oil?
I know. Oh my God.
Did I say that?
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's the truth. But So
So now you're back.
And
So
now-
you've lived a pretty great life, and I guess is that hustle that you're on the road all the time and you're making
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like you have to make it, or
Sure.
else you're not going to the next spot. And now your
we
wife
were
is
bartenders,
older.
right? So we would bartend in an affluent place like New Zealand or Australia or somewhere for a couple months and make money. And then we'd travel, all the sort of third world countries.
You were Tom Cruise,
I don't know, maybe. So
the Canadian Tom.
Just didn't realize it at the time.
yeah, and but there was times too. I mean, we flew to New Zealand and we had like $150, and we
movie
didn't have jobs yet, and so we're walking door to door and to Irish bars and my ex-wife at the time, she didn't have a work visa in New Zealand. She was allowed to travel there on a tourist visa, but she wasn't allowed to work.
Okay.
So she worked at a 5-star Portuguese restaurant in the Viaduct Harbor in downtown New Zealand, which is the richest place, right? It's all a banking district and a harbor with a U-shaped dock with a bunch of $1 million yachts and nightclubs and 5-star restaurants and Irish bars. I worked in the Irish bar there and was kind of the hot spot, right? So she got a job under the table, cash for Portuguese people who paid her like $11 an hour, and
Wow.
she wasn't making tips. And
Okay.
it was a struggle, right?
Oh yeah.
But you figured it out. So it seems that you already had the secret sauce. Cayman Islands, rich people.
Yeah.
New Zealand, rich
Rich
people.
people.
It's like, I'm going to follow the rich people. And I think maybe Cocktail, the movie that we're referring to with Tom Cruise bartending, might be themed after your life.
We were
'cause
professional
I'm pretty
partiers.
I'm pretty
we were
sure
professional
that's-
partiers. Like we worked in an Irish bar that was an after work bar
Yep.
for all the bankers. So
Oh wow.
I don't remember how many times like Kellogg's was there, and then one of their managers would bring their staff parties there, and he'd give me a black Amex behind the bar, and he'd say, "Tell me when it gets to 10,000." And
$10,000
dollars. And
Monopoly money.
well, I mean, at that time, martinis in the bar were $14. Like an appetizer tray was $40, right? It was expensive down there for
Oh wow.
for that time. It was the financial district of Auckland, New Zealand, right? It was expensive.
Yeah, we're going to jack these people.
So we get on the phone and call all our friends and neighbors and everybody. We got a black Amex behind the bar. Get down here. Everything is free.
I'll just ring it up for
Let's see how
10K.
fast we
We'll
get
call it a day.
10,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he
we're
didn't-
there.
Yeah.
Call all my friends. We got it. Let's do
we
it.
got a black Amex behind the bar. Yeah.
So real entrepreneur, back now. You've toured. You land back in the Sioux,
Mhm.
or do you?
No, so from there, we came back to the Sioux, to visit my family. And the entire dream, and this is probably 2009, was to move out west. to
Okay.
BC, right? And
Yep.
so me and my ex-wife came here for a couple of months, and we worked a little bit and saved up some money and bought a Dodge Caravan and put everything we owned in
Like
the
an
caravan,
old school caravan?
including my dog and her, and just drove across the country.
Okay.
With I had ordered a log home building course.
Like
in
order.
Cal-
What do you
in
mean
Calgary.
order it? You
So the president of the International Log Home Building Association at the time in Calgary had a once a year course, a log home building course, and so we paid $3,000, and it was a bunch of wealthy businessmen or whatever that wanted to had the dream to build their own log cabin on their ranch in northern Calgary or wherever.
so it's
right?
you, party boy.
And my ex-wife, we stayed at my friend's house that we used to live with in Caymans.
Okay.
His father works for Esson Petroleum. And I had ordered this 3-week course because I wanted to learn how to be a log builder.
Okay.
And so 3 weeks there. And what he does is you pay $3,000. He builds a garage for one of his VIP clients and gives his VIP client a free garage. He makes money. And these guys learn how to log home build. And then he poaches the best of the class and offers them jobs. And that's how he...
Love that model.
It is a
Steve,
good
we need to
model.
adopt that model here.
Smart one,
You
yeah.
pay me.
Well, I'm thinking about doing it actually on the island. We have 50 acres on St. Joe's Island.
Okay.
And me and my business partner would like to start doing like timber framing courses and log home building courses. I have
Okay.
25 years experience doing fine mortise and tenon joinery, log timber frame joinery, right? And
Yes.
so I would do it for vacation. I'd take a week vacation and go and stay on the island and learn how to
Yeah.
log home build for fun.
But
Yeah.
you get to teach it now. So if that's
You're-
so you're on your way now. You get out there. You build. Obviously, you were successful at it.
So we moved out there out west, and I did the course, and then the plan was to carry on to BC, right? And with those credentials, try and find something. So I found a job in Vancouver.
Did you even have chainsaw experience? Like,
No,
because
not
I'm
at
pretty
all.
sure, like on HGTV, they're like the timber log builders.
No,
and
no,
these
no.
guys.
I was human kinetics, bachelor of human kinetics, and never really did a lot with my dad, like building stuff. And so I bought a brand new Husqvarna chainsaw before the course, and on the way to the course, it was February with snow on the ground. I actually got out of the car and parked the car on the side of the road, started up the chainsaw and cut some brush in the ditch, so I wouldn't be that guy, right, who showed up to the chainsaw, course with a brand new freaking chainsaw.
So when you got there, it was dull.
Yeah, it probably was though.
Like, I don't know how to change
I don't know what's going on. It's not cutting here.
Yeah.
So,
But it was great. I mean, it was one of his head log home builder guys and 20, dudes, and showed us for 3 weeks how to build. And I just took to it, right? It was something like I'd been doing it forever, right? And
natural.
Yeah. My uncle, which I learned 30 years after, or my great grandfather or something with Swedish descent from down the line, he was the barn builder for all the Thessalon, Echo Bay area. And
Okay.
I guess I got his genes.
So it was like your calling. You found your calling. So you're out west. You
So
go
we
through
moved-
the course.
I got a job in Vancouver for a normal builder, right? I took the job and we rented his basement apartment suite in the guy that gave me the job. And
that's cool.
I had 3 weeks until I was supposed to start. So me and my ex-wife sat in the Dodge Caravan with the dog and all the stuff. And we took off to the mountains to Whistler and Pemberton, and we are going to go camping and kind of check it out. We got 3 weeks. So we ended up in Pemberton, in a natural park, set up the tent, and we spent a week there. And after a week,
in grizzly bear country, you set up a tent. You're like, "Hi, I'm a buffet. Come on by."
We had a dog. We locked all the food into the car at night. So,
Okay.
But we never really had an experience there. But after a week living there, it was like we lived there for 10 years. We had been invited to people's barbecues in their backyard.
Sweet.
And I got a job at a local home building company where one of the guys that worked there for 20 years, he was building his own retirement cabin.
Okay.
So the owner of the whole log home building, I think it was just a test. He said, "Okay, well, you can work with him and build his cottage, and if you work out, we'll put you on the full log home building teams."
So a earn before, like, let's try it out.
Yeah.
So you paid to go to the
And
course.
John Dunn,
and then
he
you
was
worked-
old school.
John Dutton?
Dunn is his last name.
like, what?
Well, it wasn't Dalton. It wasn't
John
Bruce
Dunn, John Dunn, Kevin
His name was
Costner?
John Dunn, actually, though. It's not
Close enough.
far off.
Because he lived in a log home.
He made me
Big log.
hand hew all the overrounds for the logs with an axe.
So what's a
Right.
hand hew? Like, for those,
So
like, I
the
don't
joint,
know. Maybe
basically?
these people
So
don't know.
basically, when you're fitting logs, you have one log that crosses over another. So you have to cut what they call a skate, and you're basically making a wedge where the round log comes over each other.
Okay.
So that, because logs shrink in their diameter. So if you put a round log in a round log, then when the round log shrinks underneath of it, there's a gap because
Okay.
it'll never grow any more wood into the joint.
Right.
So where we do the joinery, you make a wedge, and then you cut the wedge out of the round log. And when the bottom log shrinks in diameter, then the top log can fall onto the wedge, and there's always more wood and more wood, so it tightens as it
okay.
settles, right?
Is that what they mean in the log homes when they're always wrenching on them and stuff?
That's
and
classic overscribing. You shouldn't have to put any sort of like rebar or ready rod in the joints.
Yeah.
You should the weight of the log home, if it's cut out properly and you've done your overscribing properly,
You're good to
shouldn't
go.
need that. It just should be the weight, right?
So you learned, obviously.
So all of that stuff, it's a trade, right?
Trade
so
by
there's
itself,
lots of stuff there.
It's an art. I would go way beyond a trade and say that sort of building is an art.
But it's was old cowboy land out there too. I was working with loggers that it's passive aggressive.
They're passive aggressive. They're not just rate aggressive. It's like silent.
You're lifting 50-foot logs on an old ruddy crane and lifting them, onto the other side of a building. It's dangerous. And
So health and safety was right at the forefront back in the day.
We were in the back of the yard where no one could see you. No. And if the health and safety guys come, everyone just go for smoke breaks. And
But I don't smoke.
Chino worked there. He was, but he didn't even have a
Chino was the boss.
He didn't have a visa.
No cameras allowed.
No. So yeah, and then I learned my trade there. My boss, after I did the first job, then they took me on to the main log home builders, and the guy that owned the log yard sold cedar poles across Northern America. So he had 100-footers, cedars, like it was a log yard, right?
That was a
With
100-foot cedar even. That must be just
on a
massive.
loader, right? He had like,
PC cedar.
oh
There
my
it is.
God. Yeah. The 100-footers were rare, but
They're
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But 60, 70, 80-footers are normal, right?
Yeah.
And there was a literal train like procession of log trucks in the yard. And they would
Well, I
come
watched
in
it
the
on
yard full
TV
of
and I didn't
cedar.
know if it was actually for real. Like,
Oh,
you
no,
know, you
it's
see
for
that
real.
timber homes and
Yeah,
you
it's
then
a
you
very
see them.
factual thing,
that-
He
that-
had a loader with double pistons underneath that was designed to lift up containers, like rail containers. And
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And it was a forklift that could take a whole log truck at once. And it would stick the forks in underneath,
Pick it up.
and clamp it, and the whole just pick it up, and the log truck would drive away, and he would go.
Wow.
Yeah, so 40,
We did
50
that.
logs.
We were doing that with solar. Same idea. So
Yeah.
it's cool. So
Well,
watch it.
material handling is
It's key to big stuff. so,
100%. Yeah.
And did they
That's where
have
our
their own
savings come.
cutting? Sorry, but did they have their own cutting crews out in the woods? Like, was it
Oh, yeah.
they're harvesting their own wood too? Like,
Drew
is it?
Overson, his father was the road builder from Squamish to Whistler and then on to Pemberton.
Okay.
That was back in the day, 60s, 70s in BC.
Not chuck
where if
wagon, but
you-
just above.
If you built the road in, you owned the land. Like the Oversons wave their hands and they're like, we own that and that. And they're talking about mountain ranges.
Hundreds of
right? They'll own
acres, yeah.
that.
They are the Duttons.
Yeah. And
No,
so they would break the
That's
road in.
almost the same as Montana there in
Mhm.
Calgary areas and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's just fields of emptiness.
I mean,
and-
Squamish used to be the end of the road from Vancouver.
yeah.
And then, so he made road into Whistler and claimed everything there. And then what they would do is he would make the roads in, and then they would set up a mill, and they would start logging it, and they'd log the mountainsides and mill up the lumber. And then they'd take the lumber and start building houses, and there would be a little, it was gold rush.
We're
right?
living in the wrong time because I mean, I'd get a dozer and go plow roads in everywhere.
Exactly.
That is now
That's
mine.
mine. I mean, it's gold rush too. Like Braylorn is north of Pemberton, and it's a ghost town that used to have 80,000 people when they found gold there, right? And made mines. And
Wow.
yeah, it's
So
it's
you
Wild
you
West.
are like a modern day explorer, and we
Yes.
haven't even touched on it. So after there, you move over. You're
So
married.
the Olympics came in 2009, or they announced the Olympics in 2009, and the $50,000 that me and my ex-wife had saved up to buy. We had a property. It was $55,000. We had 45 or 50 saved up.
Yep.
3 acres, southwest facing, at the base of Mount Currie, with 30 minutes north of Whistler, BC.
Oh, nice.
3,000 meter peaks that are snow peaks all winter long. Golf course across from it, whatever.
So you were right there. You're
And,
ready to go.
We were ready to purchase, and then the Olympics came, and they announced it, and every property within a 30-mile radius of Whistler went up 100%, all of them. So
100%.
yeah.
Okay.
So the property that we were looking at for 55 was now 90 or 95, right? Which at that time I was 23 years old, bartender who made a lot of money but spent it all as well.
Easy come, easy
that
go.
was an unsurmountable.
You're saying timing was everything there. So
100%.
yeah. So
If I would have, hindsight 2020, if I would have begged, borrowed, and stole for that $55,000, that same property sells for $1.3 million right now, just the property.
Yeah.
Right. And
how do you
you
know?
hear
How
that,
do you know
Chino?
that? But still,
should have
Hindsight. Chino's
2 and 2.
life is hindsight.
Exactly. So me and my ex-wife had a property in Czech. So I had the big idea that I would build a log home. We would ship it to Czech, build it in the Czech Republic, and leave it as an investment or something for my ex-wife to have at home. And we'd wait until after the Olympics when the price of property went down, and we'd come back and
So
and
you
buy
left it for
property.
her now, and
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
Yeah. So I went to my boss and said, we're going to be moving to Czech. He pretty much donated me the wood for my log home
Amazing.
because anything out there under 8 feet long is waste because it doesn't fit on a
Right.
mill. And wood out there is like crushed stone in Northern Ontario. It's like,
It's there. It's
yeah,
like pebbles on the
everywhere.
ground. You're like,
It's waste wood, right? So I scavenged for our log home, and we had a bunch of made more windows and stuff. And
you'll have to send us a picture if you have it.
I will for sure. And after work and before work, I peeled our logs with a draw knife, and then after work, I constructed our log cabin. And then in the fall of 2008, my ex-wife, 7 months pregnant for our daughter.
Oh, wow.
We flew in November from Toronto to Prague to the Czech Republic, and left a fully constructed log shell on the log yard in Pemberton. And I had that winter and until May the next year to get a building permit, find a property, buy a property, get a building permit, do a foundation, road in, and accept a log cabin, right? So
Wow.
for the next 3 months,
You were on the clock.
yeah, my wife couldn't help because she was getting ready to give birth.
Yeah.
So we moved to former communist Czech Republic and moved into the apartment underneath of my ex-wife, under her parents.
Sorry, and could you speak Czech?
A couple words. Like the summer before, I got a textbook with a bunch of audio tapes. It was called Česká hru. It was like old school tapes, audio tapes. I was working in the bush that summer, and I had them on a tape player, a Walkman in my jacket when I was working in the bush, and learning Czech. Like,
was there English speaking
Dobrý den, hello. My name is Derek. Yeah, so many you Derek. And the guy thought I was crazy, running a chainsaw and
laughing at you,
speaking Czech. Yeah.
Was there many English speaking people there, or
there is in the main centers? But we lived in Novicin, which is a small city of probably about 20,000 people.
Old school there.
We lived in a village 40 kilometers or 20 kilometers outside of there. That was 400 people.
So it'd be like, no, 400 people.
Everyone knew hello and how are you? And, and they all wanted to speak English to me. So it meant a lot of awkward conversations with people. Like, you do know I speak Czech. And they're like, no, it's okay. I want to practice.
Okay. Let's go talk to the English guy.
But I mean, so 4 months, and my father-in-law, who is a hyperactive, crazy Czech man, would take me to the building offices, and I would have to fill out paperwork for a building permit. And the building permit process there is really like cumbersome.
So kind of like here, very cumbersome.
A lot more cumbersome than here. It almost takes a year to get a building permit there.
But is there a way to expedite it there?
Well, there is. You can put cash money in an envelope and pass it across the table.
Is that what you do here too?
Well, you can still openly bribe a government official, not here.
Wait a minute, which one are we talking
in the Czech
about?
Republic,
okay.
To this day, if you go and get your safety on your car, you park your car in the parking lot and give them your keys, and you always put a $500 check ground note on the driver's seat. So when the mechanic comes and sits in your car, he pockets the $500,
and he just does the bounce check, and he's like, okay.
And your car passes every time. I had a hard time with it. Really, it's still like rampant. Like communism fell 28 years ago. They still have a saying in Czech language right now: if you don't steal from work, you're stealing from your family.
Okay,
that's an old Czech adage.
What is it in say it in Czech?
Jestli nekradeš práce, tak kradeš rodina. If you don't steal from work, you're stealing from your family. My ex-wife's mother, when I moved there, told me I was not. She worked at a logistics company. I was not to buy tape, paper, anything office supply.
Because that's what she brings home.
Because that's what she brings home.
Right.
Toilet paper, we got you covered. Yeah. Paper clips, same thing.
So
you bring the food.
I have proceeded to play charades in various hardware stores and stuff like that, trying to find the right materials and stuff. And they love me. They're like, okay, Canadian boy, we're going to rip this guy off.
They seen you coming.
Oh, yeah. So I had a tactic that I would go the night before to a bar or restaurant.
But dude, you're a big guy, so
they don't care. They're old communists. They'll talk it out of you. So I'd find a person that was a carpenter or a plumber or whatever, and I'd buy him his beers all night, and I'd get him to write me a list of materials that I needed the next day and how much they actually cost. And I would get the insider information. Be like, hey, Zdenek, listen, I'm building a foundation and I need to buy a rebar. And those guys keep ripping me off. And he's like, don't pay any more than this for that. And then I go with a list to the hardware store to be like, my buddy Zdenek said these are the prices.
Oh, you even put his name beside it.
This is what I'm buying. Yeah,
that's good. Smart.
So you build your place. You have you build
everything's
all
going
over
well.
the Czech.
Yeah. So I built our log home, and then my daughter was born, and we had planned to stay there for a couple of years. But obviously, I needed a way to make money when I was there.
Yeah.
So I built one log home for a friend, and I built another one, and I built another one, and then 15 years later, I had one of the largest log home building companies.
So Derek, tell me the challenges. You're in a new country. You're a business owner, and basically you've kind of have that passion for creating things all over the place as you go. I'm basically hearing your story, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of similarities and challenges in starting your business in Czech, then starting your business here. I mean, you worked for the guys out west, but now you're on your own. You're the boss.
The business in Czech was easy in the sense that I was probably the only qualified log home builder there, and there wasn't a lot of competition, right?
Okay.
So within the first year, I was invited to a home expo as a professional speaker, or an expert speaker and stuff like that. So the business ramped up incredibly fast in Czech. The hard part about it there was developing a team of people that you could trust, because as I just explained,
If you're
Yeah.
not stealing from work, you're stealing from your family.
Exactly.
Well, what kind of material? They have lots of logs. Like,
oh
they
yeah,
have
the
that style?
forest system's good. They have a lot of Engelmann spruce,
Yeah.
and because the Czech Republic during communism cut all the forests down and then
Oh.
planted 60 years ago or 70 years ago, they planted rows of spruce.
Oh,
from
wow.
Rows
So
and
there's
rows.
lots. Okay.
They now are hurting with a bug problem there because it's
Oh,
a
really?
monoculture,
Okay.
and their forests are really hurting because they didn't plant it the right way, and forest fires also are a problem.
Right.
But there's good lumber there. It's more workforce and people you can trust to work for you, with you, and around you.
You have to
Right.
shake their pockets out on the way home.
Exactly. The guy that I rented our log yard from was an old farmer, and it was a farmyard, and they used to have silos there, so there was concrete pads on the ground, so he couldn't farm it, so he rented it out to me to build the log homes because it was perfect foundation for me. So he said that my back worked like a light switch, and I was like, "What?" I'm trying to translate it from Czech, and he's like, "You turn around, and they all shut off."
Oh,
So apparently, when I left every job site, all my workers would sit down and have a little siesta.
Why not? Steve, you get that now, don't you?
yeah. Every time I come here, you guys are having a nap.
All the time.
Yeah. So
All the time.
So the infrastructure there is difficult, and I ended up burning out. The first year I sold 3, the second year I sold 6, the
Oh,
third
good.
year I sold 12 at a hotel.
And a hotel?
Yeah.
Wow.
And ramped up from 2 employees and a crane operator and some subcontractors like roofing guys and electrical
Yeah.
guys.
Right, your
To
typical
30
trades.
full-time employees, 2 office workers, probably 15 different architectural offices that I was working with, customers, lawyers.
this is in a period of 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah,
or-
this is
that's
probably
pretty
4
good.
years
So,
down.
It's a
Yeah.
rocket ship.
yeah, there you
It
go.
was a rocket ship, but it was difficult to control. So then I ended up being secretary, crane operator, chainsaw driver, runner, guy that yells at
Whatever it took.
employees, everything from
Yeah.
morning till
Security.
night, right? Exactly.
Muscle.
And so it got to be a struggle, and I regret it too. Like, missed a lot of my daughters growing up, and
But I think that's
The
a common
trials.
theme for entrepreneurs. You're either all in, and most entrepreneurs are extremists. There's no balance because the balance will come later, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what the people do. They go on tilt. I can speak the same way. Like I
yeah.
know my younger daughters. I have 4 daughters. You have 1. I have 4. And my younger ones, my relationship was I was working all the time, and so there is some regrets, right? I feel those
But
as
an
an entrepreneur.
it's the nature of the beast, right? We're all entrepreneurs.
Gotta
It's
win.
either
If you
all
don't do
in-
it, you're not going anywhere.
all
so.
in, or it's
Yeah.
not going to work.
You got to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, and in any situation here, I'm one man show here.
Yeah.
It's starting to go now, but
There's a lot of work for it.
So that could be a good segue. I mean, I know that you had a successful career in the Czech, and that's fantastic.
So-
and life's brought you back to Sault Ste. Marie.
So what made you come back then? How's that?
so my marriage failed, probably
Okay.
numerous reasons. And
Because you're a
then,
workaholic.
and yeah, possibly. And then COVID killed it.
yeah.
Like in 2019, I was planning to move back to Canada, right? And it was always the dream, right? Okay, I'm going to make a lot of money. Like, marriage failed when my daughter was 6 years old. I couldn't come back to Canada because I couldn't deal with seeing my daughter twice a year.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, how do I help my family right now? And what's the best thing I can do? So the only thing that came to mind was make a lot of money. So I grew my business over the next 7 years to
Right.
a multi-million-dollar company in Czech.
That's
I have
awesome.
75 log homes, custom log homes built all over Eastern
Oh.
Europe, a hotel, and fine stuff.
That's great.
And so in 2019, I had probably about 5-6 million Czech crowns saved up, which is 350,000, 400,000 Canadian dollars.
Okay.
And I bought 4 acres of southwest-facing building property in the south of Moravia in Czech, and it's wine country. 40 hectares of vineyards underneath of the south-facing
I can picture it
sunset.
now.
Oh, it's wine country. There's a whole bunch
Sounds
of wine
beautiful.
cellars, and tourists go there in the fall, and they go for wine tastings and
Yeah.
and stay there in cottages. So the idea was to subdivide this 4-acre property into 2 building lots. I spent probably another $50,000-$60,000 getting services. It was rural on the side of a hill. There was no electricity, plumbing, water. So I had that all done, subdivided, got building permits and signed contracts.
After
for
stacks of cash being bribed, right?
Of course. Oh yeah. And buying material and everything. And COVID hit. And I had one signed contract for a multi-million-dollar home.
Okay.
Where we bought the property for 1.6%
Financing?
mortgage.
That's really good, though.
Oh, it was not. It was pennies. Labor was the cheapest it had been in 10 years. Material was the cheapest it had been in 10 years. And energy was the cheapest it had been in 10 years. So I did the budgeting accordingly. And within 3 weeks, the cost of labor, energy, and material went up 300%. They closed the borders to the provinces in the Czech Republic, so I couldn't even get my workers to job sites. And all of a sudden, I had to go back to my customers and said, remember that quote I did 3 months ago for 4 million Czech crown? It's going to be 12 million Czech crown right now. It's going to cost
half the price.
and
No.
they're like,
Sticker
and these
shock.
were affluent people. They had a glass company and
Sticker shock, though.
Oh, and everyone's got clauses in their general contracting agreement, but you never have the 300% clause, right?
No.
I mean, there's a
I bet
clause,
you do now.
Well, yeah, unforeseeable supply chain stuff, but it's really hard to predict that.
Yeah.
I think across Canada, builders got killed as well. It wasn't just a European thing.
A lot
Everybody got
of
killed.
places shut down.
Yeah.
You're right, 100%.
So-
Some people did better. Some people.
If I
did
would
way
have
worse.
bought plywood for the same amount of money I invested in 2019 and put it in a warehouse for 6 months and sold it, I would have been rich.
That's Chino's hindsight right there.
That
That's
is
2020. That's
that
2020
is
right there. It's like,
2020.
That's
oh,
seeing the
shit.
future and seeing what's going
Yeah,
on. So,
of
and nobody
course.
would predict what happened
No,
there. So
no,
it
no,
was.
no.
So let's
It was-
let's fast forward because I mean you were successful there.
So I
but-
worked for 3 years. I met my customers halfway.
Yeah.
They paid a little bit more. I lost my shirt or broke even. I was supposed to probably make at
Make
least
some cash.
$750,000 on that deal, and I made zero or minus $50,000 for sure. But I built the house, and I still own the other property there,
Okay.
and
So you did,
so it worked out. But
Derek. You didn't have to stow away on a cargo ship to get home. You just
no, that's a story for that's not a story
Well,
for this podcast.
that's a story at a cocktail hour. Chino holds you to that cocktail hour.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
So you get out on with some minimal
Yeah.
bruising or some bruising, kind of
Yeah,
like
of course.
entrepreneurial journeys do. They get you.
And so I moved back here 2 years ago, March.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And originally I was like, I'm not going to do big business again. I'm going to go home.
I think
I'm
we all say
I'm
that.
almost 50 years old. I'm going to buy, my original plan was to challenge for my Red Seal crane operators, because I've been operating cranes for 20 years, buy a crane and be that guy that drives around and rents his crane out for $300 an hour. I mean, it's a good plan. I would have been fine and dandy renting my crane and
Like,
driving
no.
it around. So then I went and I got my crane operator's license for here, my DZ license and all that sort of stuff. And in the meantime, got a job working for a friend who does construction.
Okay.
And I was like, and I'm a building science guy, like in the Czech Republic the last 4
Sorry,
years.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Building science. I'm a building geek. So I've been
That's
studying.
Bill
I've been
Nye. You're like, I'm Bill Nye of
I've been
building.
studying net zero building, passive house building, because Germany, Austria, and Eastern Europe is just miles ahead as far as like the building envelope and how to do things properly. So those two houses in Burnout and the last two houses in Czech were prefab net zero ready houses. The one house that we built in Burnout was a passive house design. We didn't go for any certification, but it met passive house standards, right?
Okay.
So really excited about, building science and coming back to Canada and learning all the new age design.
Like what has
things
been going on in
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah,
This is
I thought
fantastic.
we were going to be light years ahead.
Yeah.
And so I started driving around in pickup trucks to Guli, and
That's not even it.
and
Steve
picking up-
delivers wood on donkeys sometimes.
Come on, that's my other world.
So
The small donkey.
the workhorse ones, because they're
those
dependable
are
though.
good though. You don't have to.
They're
no
dependable.
Insurance.
They want insurance still. Come on, they always had to make something on this.
And so I just realized that, I was shocked to see that we are still literally in Canada building simple 2x4 construction with bat insulation and holes through a membrane and screwing drywall directly to that frame. And that's our building envelope
That's
in Northern Ontario. It's unbelievable. And that passes building code.
Well, that's code. That's our geniuses at code.
Yeah, that's just That's
But
not going to
so
change.
so you
It's
you
been happening
you,
since the 30s. Like
Yes.
that's the building.
That's
structure.
well,
why
now it's 2x6, not 2x4. Because
that's my
but
donkey
still.
analogy,
Mhm.
guys. That's my donkey analogy from the 1930s. So you see there's a need. You're working for a guy, and you're like, screw this.
And he's a great builder. He's one of the best builders in Sault Ste. Marie. And the process is he has 4 crews of 4 guys, 4 leased trucks. Everybody goes to shop. 7 o'clock in the morning, gets debriefed. Spends half an hour at least putting tools into trucks. Then they all get into trucks and they stop at a gas station on the way to work and
Coffee shop.
and grab cigarettes and coffee and snacks. Then they go to the local hardware store and they pick through a stack of 2x6s that are crooked and they throw a lot of stuff on the ground.
My dad taught me how to tell if it's true
Oh,
or
yeah.
not. Flip it on the side, see what's
Crown
going
up,
on.
crown
Yeah,
down.
crown up.
He always
throw it
brought
to
the
the
he always
side.
brought the crooked ones home.
I did, you know what I did
Because
the
they
first.
were on special. That's
Yeah.
why you got the 50%
thought he was
off.
They
saving.
didn't even. They weren't even on special. I would go and he would say, "Go and do this," and I would go and do it, and I'd come back and you're like, "Yeah, no, take those back."
No, those
Like-
aren't the good ones. So if you get to job site by 9:30, then it's coffee.
And you started at 7.
Then you untarp the material that you tarped up yesterday that's lying on a sandy beach,
And it's
and you start
lunch.
working. Yeah. So that's 16 guys, 4 hours a day, $30 an hour. You do the math, thrown out the window.
We need
Yeah,
your
but-
brother to do the math. He's the guy that
Yeah.
numbers.
So it's a lot of money. Like, what's that? 16 times 30. 48.
Do you mind if when we're doing that we play the Jeopardy song?
Exactly. It's almost $1,000 a day.
So there you are with working with this company, and
yeah. So
sounds like you're seeing a lot of things you don't want to do.
So my brother is an architect and engineer for Tulloch Engineering, and so he got a memo that they were doing the ADU program for the city of Sault Ste. Marie. It's accessory dwelling units that are basically granny suites to tackle a housing crisis. And
Right.
So he's like, this is a good opportunity. Let's apply, right? So we applied for the program and went through the 4 months of doing all the steps to go through it.
Okay.
And we got accepted for the program, and I rented a shop in the industrial park on White Oak.
On
off
White Oak
Second
Drive,
Line in
okay.
in Sackville.
The White Oak there.
Beside
yeah.
DKI Disasters and
Yeah,
Feeding,
yep.
Feeding
Okay.
Soul Restaurant.
Yeah.
Sandwiched in between the two of them, a 4,000 square foot shop, which I thought it was going to make tiny houses out of, right?
Okay.
And I started doing a lot of research as far as what's mandated by the Canadian government. Like, we need to build twice as many houses as we're building right now. That means 500,000 new build starts a year
For the province?
to equalize the housing shortage or crisis that we have, right? And the big housing crisis right now is quality, affordable stock. It's called the missing middle.
Yeah.
And so what do we have for housing stock? Just here in Sault Ste. Marie, we either have a lot of $700,000 new houses, or
Yeah.
we have a lot of 1920s built stick frame houses
That
that
almost-
are valued at like $250,000, and you could probably push them over.
yeah,
Right.
A lot of bad houses.
Yeah.
A lot of houses that are
And so
ripped down.
Steve was
houses.
telling me about one that he could have picked up with a skid steer.
Oh, some of them were just.
Oh
wild.
yeah,
I've seen
my
so
mom's
many.
house. My mom's house is on McNabb. We did some simple siding repair and found out that the entire foundation was totally rotten.
Yeah.
Like totally rotten. That her 800 square foot bungalow is put together on cinder blocks, 10 by 10 cinder blocks, but there's like 12 of them, right? No pressure treated wood, no anything. So we had to jack the house, and there's numerous houses like that.
Yeah.
And that house was valued at $380,000 2 years ago in the
Wow.
COVID bubble.
So
Well,
that's
people,
where the
and people are buying them.
Oh, I
but
know
then
that.
what do you do with them? That's
Well,
the
you
problem.
don't. And
You
in,
don't fix
in
them.
less than 10 years, you're going through a major renovation, like
Oh.
roof, wall, tear down renovation.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Is that where you saw the light bulb went off? Your brother's like, okay, we got this
yeah.
opportunity. Now we're in business. So now you're up, you're running.
But then I started to delve into panelized construction because the tiny homes, they lend themselves to that, right?
Yep.
So basically for the last,
right here, right?
yeah.
GLM Homes, that's you.
Homes there.
Yeah.
So what's GLM?
So what we've done is over the last year and a half, we've applied for various funding streams, and we're putting together basically an assembly line for houses.
So who
So,
helped you do that? Your brother did it with you? And when I
myself
say
and
help,
my brother for the calculations. I mean, if it wasn't for AI, I don't know what we do in this day and age.
gotta love
But
AI.
FedNor, and we just did a joint deal with FedNor and the CDC with a building innovation program that we've been applying for the last 6 months. And then we're right now applying for the NOHFC has a launch program for
Yep.
startups in Northern Ontario. And so we're using that to put together a CNC assembly line for for panels.
So Chino's asking,
Mm.
was it a particular individual at the city, or was it your AI? Was it the AI?
That
Like, how did you discover
you get
the
through
grants? Like, did someone
well,
come knock on your door?
I
Like,
did a lot of like kind of running around.
Yeah.
and found the kind of key players down there.
So
And,
did
like,
you-
Nevin Bukancic
Okay.
at FedNAR is amazing.
he's written some books.
Taylor Wright is our advisor for the NOHFC and the CDC. And I just did a lot of online searching and knocking on doors and figuring out what the funding streams that were available for us.
So Chino wants to know,
Mm.
because he's been in a couple of these interviews lately. Was it a particular individual at the city that knocked on your door, or did you go knock on the
I went
city's door?
knocking on the city's door.
So
And
you
you're
went
like-
looking for it.
Oh yeah,
And you're
for
like,
sure.
I'm here. And then did they open the door? Did they like?
Oh, the city's and it's not the city. It's like NOHFC and FedNor.
Okay.
And
So
listen, our government wants this to happen. We need to fulfill the shortage of housing that we have. And the only way to do that is prefab, offsite modular construction, because we cannot fulfill that kind of volume of quality built houses just doing it the way we do it. Because
Right.
frankly, the way we build houses is archaic. I mean, if you buy a Mercedes, they don't bring it to your driveway and dump a bunch of nuts and bolts out. on the
Total Wolf
driveway
comes for sure.
and screw it together in the wind and rain and sand. Well, that's
They
how we
do.
build
They do that.
houses.
No, they do that. 100%.
So-
Total comes with the whole Mercedes team.
I think what Brad's getting to is, was it a tough reach to get somebody to listen to you?
At
From the
first.
funding
At
stream?
fir-
I'm
fir-
talking
at
about- no.
first.
100%.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
even the funny
Is it easy to get in there and say, "Hey, I'm here. I want to talk," or is it going through a lot of channels?
It is a lot of channels,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's redundant. A lot of the applications,
Yeah.
and some of it is, they're asking you for things that you can't possibly have. Right? The NOHFC program is a startup program, but they want us to have 2 years of financials,
Yes.
which is how the heck do I
Like,
produce
we're
2 years
starting,
of
we're-
financials? Well, it's a startup.
You call
also
your
can't
friends
be
in the
business.
Czech.
I guess so, and they fab it up. But
they make it very challenging. I
They
see
do.
that,
They
so.
do. I guess probably the challenge is to like vet people and make sure that you're worth your program as well,
Right.
right? They want no risk. They want almost zero risk, right?
But the whole entrepreneur journey is a risk. Here you are back in the country. You see a huge opportunity. You have the skill set. You have the expertise.
yeah.
And you're like, you know what?
do you- how do you
Basically,
get there?
But
you have to say.
the machinery, and we're getting rudimentary like startup beginner machines,
Yeah.
and is over $1 million too for the base model assembly line, where we're getting the Simpson Strong Tie Easy Frame saw, which is a $200,000 saw that is run by a computer generated BIM model that breaks down any architectural drawing anywhere from 250 square feet up to 35,000 square foot multi-unit residential.
Yeah.
And it breaks it down into a 3D BIM model and then rebuilds it into our panels. And then that makes shop drawings and files that are uploaded to the saw. And then the saw takes raw 2x4 material, cuts it out according to the plans. It has an optimal cutting sequence to minimize waste. It has an optimal assembly sequence, shipping sequence, loading sequence, offloading sequence. The developers in the field, like we're working with a lot of developers down south right now that are doing these missing middle projects, which is anything from a 30-unit condo complex to a 500-unit condo complex. And they can't find framers. That's their bottleneck,
Yeah.
right? And they don't like it because they're building complexes in phases. So phase one is built and they have occupancy.
Then they're
But
waiting
then
for
they're-
phase. Yeah.
Well, and they're building with building crews that are coming in, running compressors and swearing and smoking, and we leave that all in the shop.
That's
right?
part of it. When you
is
go
part
to
of
it, when you go to a construction
when
site,
Chino was running
back in
crews,
Czechoslovakia.
when Chino was running crews back in the 80s,
coffee,
that's
stale
video
donuts, and smokes. That's the
Whips.
best smell. You're like, yeah, I know I'm on a construction site, and then you hear a couple F
But
bombs dropped.
in Burlington, Mrs. Wilson, and she's waking up at 7 a.m. to the boys screaming and
away.
Chino and his boys going at it. They don't like that, and those are $800,000 condos in Burlington or whatever.
So
well,
Derek,
not that much, but
actually, in preparation for you coming in, and as I said, we're now friends. You check the friend roster off, and since we've been having our conversations, the amount of amazing machinery out there, Steve, right now is
huge,
amazing. I watched this machine grab 2x6s, and like it looked like something like a car assembly plant.
so
here's
that's the road that we're on right now.
Here's a good question.
Mhm.
So I'm going to build a traditional house. Yep, I got my permits.
Mhm.
Everything's ready to go. From start to finish, it takes this long. For you to do the same thing, what would it take you?
At least, well, a traditional framed house from start to finish is probably going to be 6 to 9 months if everything goes well.
For you?
No, for them.
For them, okay.
them.
Yeah,
And that's
Oh, for you, how long is it for you?
I agree with that. So
Yeah.
it there's a process.
So a
and
2,500 square foot house
Yes.
is framed in 2 days on our machines,
Okay.
assembled in 3,
Okay.
and then whatever your occupancy is. But we're given 30 to 60 days occupancy on our 2,500 square foot units. But that's pretty conservative.
And
So-
that's
When the machine's running full on, and that's our basic machine,
Yep.
it's capable of doing 40 to 90 12-foot panels, fully insulated windows and doors installed a day. That 2,500 square foot unit's about a 60 panel build, right?
Okay.
So it's a day and a half of framing to get your building envelope.
But-
We deliver a double 2x4 wall that's 16-inch Ontario building compliant,
cool.
open
yeah.
framing inside. Another second wall that's got the interior wall has 1/2-inch plywood. Then another 2x4 layer, 24-inch on center to eliminate thermal bridging.
Okay.
Dense pack insulation, Huber engineered wood zip channel, and windows and doors flashing installed. So,
Does it have to be the 2x4s, or can you go to the 2x6s as well?
well, then we have net zero and other options. We're doing a high performance build in North Bay, which is a 2x4, 2x6 wall
Okay.
with
pretty wide.
interior
So you can
full
do it
cell
as-
spray. Then we have a net zero wall, which is an R65 wall, and that's
Yep.
a 2x4 or 2x6 interior frame with 9.5-inch I-beams on the exterior frame with dense pack insulation. That comes in at like R65.
So, Derek, I think people, and especially at home listening or tuning in, wherever they tune in, it's important for them to understand when you say modular and we're talking assembly line. You can take your traditional home build, the blueprints that your custom and designer or
Any
architect
high-end
designed.
mansion, it's modular. It's not mobile.
Correct.
Which means that we break any architectural design. You know,
Yeah.
Shania Twain's Weekend Villa and
She has a
Whistler.
weekend villa.
Yeah, I worked on
Probably
it.
more than
Oh,
one.
wow.
So
Chino
and we
stayed
can
there.
break that down into modular sections. So it's geometry. So then our software breaks it down and says, okay, this is how many 12-foot panels we're building. And we're not recreating the wheel. This is Ontario Building Code compliant framing. But
Right.
What we're doing is leveraging the efficiency of our process instead of us going in trucks. And after that lumber that's been rained on for the last week and put it onto
And crooked.
cement and lay it out by hand by kneeling on the thing and nail together a frame. Then we put together an empty frame. Then we set up scaffolding on sand. Then we carry OSB on a ladder.
No, the
and
windows.
nail it
The
on the
windows.
wall.
That's my favorite part.
Windows on scaffolding, Tyvek in 80 kilo-an-hour winds.
So
Those
I'm-
are all
so
my
I'm-
favorite things to do.
So I'm fair to say that 6 to 9 months to build a normal house.
Mm.
For you guys, for me
60
to give
days.
you the stuff, from A to B, 2 months. I can have my frame. I can have my house
60 days
sitting,
is occupancy.
and you're
Shelled.
in and
Yeah.
out. Okay, fair enough. That's good to know.
So the question that I want to lead into, because I know we're going to be running short on time, and I want to jump into it really quick. So everything is shipping, and I was driving last night actually, and I almost like hit a pole because diesel in the Sioux was $2.59 or 56 cents a liter.
Yeah.
And I think for
What
comparison,
was it 3 months ago?
no, hold on. For comparison, because we have some American
it
people,
was slow.
the liter in gallons, so make them equal what it would be. We are paying here in Sault Ste. Marie, Northern Ontario, $9.69
A gallon.
a gallon. Can you imagine? Now that's
Well, I deal with
exchanged.
local shippers. Like that's a model of our builds.
We're
So
going through that
that's
right now.
great, and I think for both you guys in industry,
easy.
you're running a lot of diesel equipment. Steve's running a lot of diesel
And
equipment.
the problem is you're
doing
bidding
this.
jobs, and then you got to how do you put it in there to make sure it's right? Then you get the jobs, and it's like fuel
let's
is
hope that
going
this
up
is
and
gonna be,
down.
that,
a temporary thing, but
Uncle Donald comes to his senses.
But I don't even think
Yeah.
it's an Uncle Donald thing. I think this
No.
can be a Canadian thing. We are the world's fourth largest supplier of crude oil, and here we're paying
We
$9.
refine our own oil.
We're
We don't-
paying
we don't
$9
we don't
have
refine it.
refineries.
That's
We
a
don't have
problem. We don't have
refineries.
refineries.
$10. Chino actually, he wanted to get back his Western days and get his guns out
Yep.
because this is friggin' robbery. And then we
Well-
talk about our food insecurities and all of these other things that transcend down
We're
housing, food
We're thinking
insecurity.
about a lot of rail shipping because we just took a shop on Wilson Street and there's a rail tie right there.
Brad's going to build one. So
Oh, no, I'm a high-speed rail.
high-speed.
High-speed
rail,
rail.
yeah.
But that's only rail shipping is only effective when you're doing like really big
Volume.
stuff, right?
You have
And
to
you
have
gotta get volume.
volume.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's the same as the port. They're talking about the port, and
Yeah.
that's volume,
But you gotta
volume,
be
volume,
shipping-
volume.
Like we are
It-
going to have volume.
It would be
We're
nice
ta-
to see volume. I'll be
Yeah.
honestly, it'd be a great thing to have, but
Yeah.
we'll see down the road here.
I
with
think
that,
we're going to
so.
get a lot of volume. Like, I don't know about your business, but solar's going to go crazy. Like our government has mandated that we be net zero emissions by 2050. That's not a long.
My high-speed rail is net
That's not a
zero.
long way away.
You know, the problem is we get prices for pipe to put in for helicals, say
Mhm.
a 200 megawatt farm, and you got 50,000 pipes to 5.5 inch pipes.
Yeah.
We can really fight the prices with steel and get it down as far as we can, how we do it. But the shipping is almost equivalent to buying the steel now, if not way more.
Yeah.
And that's the and it's not the people's fault. It's
No.
it's just what it is. Tariffs and everything
No,
else.
no,
So
no,
I deal
no.
with
It's
the local-
taxes. It's getting
Taxes,
taxes.
it's
We're
everything.
taking it up the ass in taxes.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's something that is, let's be honest, it's right there. It's at the pumps. It's taking money from our pockets.
Well,
We need to
the
take.
builders just got a good with the tax rebate on new builds. Anything under $1 million is 13% tax exempt.
But what about all the permits? The permits that are, where's all this friggin' money
With
going?
the government's actually working hard on it with the for the building industry to like
They are-
alleviate
they
some
are-
of the building.
You're seeing every day
permit.
different stuff going on.
We're
there.
seeing different things, but how does that translate down to the dollars and cents of a builder like Derek, a builder like you?
This is a positive thing.
It is.
No,
Yeah.
but this is, we want to highlight. No, but, hey, listen, I'm for
One
it.
step at a time.
I'm for
We
it,
are making a
but
lot
it's
of
a simple
steps in
thing.
the right direction.
They're trying.
They are trying, and
I
they're-
agree with you. There's a lot of there can be a lot out there. We can talk about negative. There's no
No,
doubt about
we're,
it.
Yeah.
we're highlighting the high.
And there's highs
impact.
and lows to what it is, but
Yeah.
right now this is a pretty positive sounding thing, and I like
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love it.
and it's in the Sault Ste. Marie, which is great to have you come back here. So
Well, and
It's a win for the North.
we're like looking into major expansions, right? If our business model goes the way we know it's going to go,
Once. There's
the
no ifs.
demands-
Once.
yeah,
Oh, I think
the
you're in a-
demand in Southern Ontario is unbelievable.
it's not even the south right now. The north is.
Yeah.
If it opens
And
up the way it's supposed to open up,
We
you
also
you,
have
you won't be able
a-
to keep up.
We also have a majority-owned Indigenous company that we will be-
Partnership.
yeah, and we're
Fantastic.
offering affordable housing solutions to First Nations communities across
That's
Ontario and
and
Canada.
that's a big.
And we want to do a partnership with one of the nations to have a manufacturing facility in the north that specifically caters to First Nations communities and rural First Nations communities. Like our building model, the panels, is very conducive to building in rural areas because we can ship it to anywhere a truck can go, an off-road truck can go. We ship it in panels, and we don't need
Or
a
the
lot
train.
but we deliver 90% of the home finished, right? We're affordable prices. So we're up in even Sioux Lookout or north of there,
Yeah.
and then up in really Hudson Bay areas, they don't have a local hardware store. They don't have a local.
We did that in 2015. We built a whole bunch of houses inside. Same idea as you got,
Mm-hmm.
and we put it on our transports and brought it to Pitt Mobert actually.
Yep.
And it was in there. Everyone got faster and faster as we built it. It was steel housing now, but it's full spray foam, full done up.
Yeah.
And then it was 2-story buildings. We brought the second story and craned it up to the next swap and popped it in place. And it was there that close to making it, and then it just fizzled out a little
We
bit.
can take
so.
it to the point now with the new machinery, and I mean, it's science fiction what the new lines are, where they're
That's
totally
amazing.
automated.
Yeah.
$7 million lines that are capable of doing 1,000 houses a year with 14 employees and robotic arms and everything. Where you're getting wall panels that are fully insulated, drywall and primed with quick connections for water, electrical, and everything, and you're putting up houses that are livable.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
you
So
know.
Derek, when you're fully operational and down the road, the vision is 14 employed. Like what's your employment stack? Like what are you looking for?
We'll see where everything takes us. But right now we're in a 4,000 square foot shop that
Yep.
we've just rigged out with the Wilson Street facility that we're capable of putting 40 to 90 homes a year out of.
Fantastic.
Right?
And
With 4 employees,
That's-
two shop managers and myself.
that's
and that's
great.
crews to go and put them up
So
to.
then at the end of the year, we are eligible for a 50% forgivable loan from Softwood Lumber Canada and the Ministry of Natural Resources that we hope to purchase a property and build a 35,000 square foot purpose-built shop that's capable of putting out 1,000 homes a year or the equivalent of, right? And
Sorry.
that's end game right now. That's phase 2 of our business plan expansions. And then we'll see, we have to do proof of concept and produce. And then we would like to copy that shop and put it in different locations all over wherever it's feasible.
Wherever it
right?
makes sense.
So the beauty of this business model is it's totally scalable and totally repeatable. So it's math, right? And you know that out of this 10,000 square foot shop, I'm capable of putting X linear feet out, and then you just scale it up.
So you can take your automation and go anywhere you want with
100%.
it, and just
And
build it
save
build
some
it on
shipping.
site. So if there's that many homes to be built,
Yeah.
so
And it's you don't need skilled labor. You don't need journeyman carpentry guys in there. So I send a file that goes into a computer machine, and unskilled local laborers in the First Nations communities or mining communities or wherever, they just, put material into the machines, and the machine prints it off. So it's a good opportunity for local communities to train people, get job skills.
Yeah.
We're working with Ontario Community Builders here
Okay.
in Sault Ste. Marie. They operate out of Sudbury and Hamilton, and they're a social entity that paid trains workers with barriers to employment. So guys
Great.
that are, but they're also a for-profit construction company
okay.
that can take contracts on. So they're going to be doing a lot of our finished contracts and flooring, paint, drywall.
Right, you're
So
finishing end.
they
Finishing
train
up what
their
you have to.
people and they train students, but they also have their own crews for building crews around Ontario. So they want to branch out with us as well into the Indigenous communities and create a training facility that we would build our buildings on First Nations.
Well, I definitely know a couple people that you must talk to for that. So it's exciting for Sudbury, Thunder Bay, North Bay, Timmins, the North
Wawa.
as a whole,
Yeah.
Wawa.
I got one quick question just
Yeah.
to say. They come with the glass. They come with the doors.
Yeah.
Do they come with electrical too and the plumbing part of it?
No, but what we're delivering
But
right now.
the holes are there for it, or
Yes,
is it?
yeah.
okay.
So everything's
That's-
pre-drilled. So the CNC machine has interchangeable router heads.
Okay.
So if we put into the model, I want a 5/8 hole at 12 inches in every stud,
Yeah.
a 1/2 inch hole at 16 inches.
So design works all there. You just got to slap put
100%.
together.
Literally the
So that saves a lot of money
the
too on
BIM
the side,
software
so.
catches a lot of architectural flaws because
Okay.
it's literally 3D software that can't make a mistake. It redesigns, like if you've got a multi-floor unit and you change something down here that's structural or load bearing, it reproduces it up the line, and it's
Okay.
So you basically need some pullers, some wire pullers, some
all you
tube
need.
pullers,
So basically, we're delivering an open framing
ready to go.
interior. The benefits of that is that we don't need the cumbersome CSA stuff like that, but we are getting CSA approved for all of our panels.
Right.
But an inspector can come
Great.
in, inspect the framing, and say, yeah, everything jives. And then the electricians come in, but they love it because the electricians aren't drilling a million holes in studs. They're just pulling wire, putting fixtures in. You do your rough-in plumbing, rough-in electrical.
Yeah.
And then we do an interior closed cell spray foam that acts as vapor barrier insulation, drywall, paint, and
So
floor.
you're saying you're doing it on helicals and in cement too, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
We can
Basements
build
or
them
whatever.
on any
Any
foundation
platform you
configuration.
want. So
We build a floor panel that is an R40 floor panel with 9.5 inch I-beams.
okay.
Right.
So ICF basement, ICF crawl space. We can bridge that crawl space or basement with the floor panels. And it's a lot more cost effective than making a concrete pad on top of your basement or floor
whatever,
joists or whatever that is. And then we build the panels right up. The ADUs and a lot of our smaller units, cottage units and stuff like that, we build on helical piles.
Okay.
The helical piles are engineered. They're actually more stable than a slab on grade foundation, helical piles.
Yeah, we do lots of it.
And they work well in sandy foundations. Bedrock around here is problematic for them.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's a lot of like down the line stuff or that works good, and it's a fast, effective way to do it.
Yeah.
And then any other foundation.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think, where we should go from here is once you get one of these homes up, we should come for a tour of a home or come check out the factory, Steve and I. Do a little tour. I don't know. We'll pack Chino in a pack, like one of those
Chino has to come.
one of those
We gotta
cat
get him
carriers.
that the Pope's car with the bubble on it. No, we'll put Chino in there.
There you go.
Get an RC it over there. Just put him in the GPS. We'll just get a buggy for him. No.
So we should definitely do that. And I think this is fantastic. Go and check out glmhomes.com.
.com.
Yeah.
And, if you're looking into the helical end, AES, check them out online. And then also, want to give a shout out.
Spray foaming.
And spray foaming. So AES, check them out. They do a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
have machines, yeah.
Awesome.
they do a lot of stuff that can definitely help out. GLM homes for your next home build. Bring Derek down your blueprints. Go check him out. He can be found in Sault Ste. Marie and online. And also, I just want to give a big thank you to Superior Business Solutions and AK Graphics up on Second Line in Sault Ste. Marie for all your print and copy needs. The show is growing. We appreciate everyone tuning in. I think as of today, we've been live now for a couple weeks, dropping some episodes, and every episode's getting
and
better.
again, give comments, give positive, negatives. Tell us what you want to do, where you want to go next, and if you have any questions to Mr. Nott there, bring him out there, and he'll answer them for you. So
drop them. And as always, we need that engagement. So the best way to reward and tell us that we're doing a good job is hit that subscribe button, follow along Derek's journey, because this all the journeys of our sponsors, AES and
don't forget
Superior.
He's a good bartender if we need a bartender.
Well, we'll have him at one of our functions.
I don't drink anymore, but I'll bartend.
That's perfect.
That's a good bartender.
There you go. Sober bartenders are a good bartender.
Well, Derek, thank
rare.
you for
Exactly.
Chino, myself, Steve. We definitely appreciate you coming in today.
Appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, and we look forward to working with you and seeing you on the show and getting more information in the exciting stuff that we're doing.